What a lad. Well, what I should say is what a couple of lads, as today I'm joined but not one Crusader All Black legend, but two of them. Now, both of these lads have had 50 games for the Crusaders and over 20 caps for the All Blacks, but unfortunately for the next 8 months, those tallies will not be increasing as they've both had major knee surgery. That will put them out for the year and including the Rugby World Cup. But I am stoked to have them on as they're both seriously good lads, always full of energy. They are, of course, the lads themselves, George Bauer and Sevu Reece. Welcome, lads.
Thanks for having us on this famous potty, Jimmy.
Mate, you guys look good. You sound good. Sound crisp on the ears.
Yeah, it's like a dream come true, because I would just watch all of these on my Instagram pop up, and I'm like, man, just waiting for the call up. Here we are.
Finally got you on, and both of you together. I'm looking forward to having, like I said, not just one, but two champion lads on.
All right.
But how is it? Like, you guys obviously, you've both had pretty serious knee injuries. How are the knees feeling? Like, you're still in the brace, Gio, but Sevu, you're out. You're ready to go.
Yeah, obviously, did my ACL, and wasn't until I went to go get the surgery done, and they found out that I had actually damaged the bone. So yeah, it was pretty gutted because I couldn't put weight on it, and delays the process a little bit. George and I are a bit different, and obviously you can see he's in a brace, and I'll give that to him.
What have you done, George?
Yeah, no, so the pretty much ACL gone, MCL and a PCL. So it's multi-ligament. It's quite unfortunate, and it was kind of a freak accident the way it happened, and but the reason why I have to wear the brace is the PCL, to protect the PCL, because it still takes a bit longer for it to kind of heal up properly. But yeah, it's kind of my knee happened 2 weeks after Sevu's, so saw him down and out, and then I decided, okay, I'll come and join you, brother, and we'll do the journey together, just like we've done the journey together with Super Rugby.
Because you two live together too, right?
Yes, yeah. No, Sevu's been a good. He's my landlord at the moment, so he's been kind enough to open up a room for me, and so I'm staying with him and his beautiful family, which is good, and he's got a nice beautiful daughter as well, and me growing up in a family with a lot of kids, it's good having little kids around to interact with and play with and watch them grow as well. So yeah.
Oh, cool. And so you've just done your ACL, and had some bone damage, and you've done all three of them. But the rehab's still the same, 9 months for both of you?
Yes, yeah.
It's a bit of because we've done different things. It's I think the first 3 months our rehab it looks a bit different.
Yeah.
But then I think they said around week 12 to 14 we'll start to kind of come together, and it'll look quite identical the way we start rehabbing. So yeah, it's the first couple of months where we're totally different, and then we'll start to join our tracks together, and then should be running and kind of directional movement together as well when that time comes. So
you'll be into it.
Yeah. So yeah, around 9 months for Sevs, and I think myself they reckon 9 to 12. But I'll make it 9.
Yeah.
I will make it 9.
Great, that'll get you there. But you mentioned it was a bit of a freak accident. So what did actually happen?
We were more defence, and I guess it was pretty much a more that just wasn't going anywhere. So the Reds, I think the Reds hooker tore off the maul, and then he got tackled and tried to spin out of the tackle back into the maul, where we were in already dark places, and had no idea it was coming. Had no idea it was coming, so I couldn't do anything to protect myself, and he just came in from the side, and I just felt it, like I could just feel it, like I'm sure the boys didn't hear me, but I did scream. So it was I just was like straight away, everything was going through my head, like, oh man, this is me. I think I'm done for the year. Like I kind of expected
so you knew that straight away.
And it did feel like a dislocation, and straight away I kind of like felt like, oh, might be a dangerous one, man. So I guess walking back to the changing room after, I was expecting the worst. So that I guess when the news did hit me, it didn't hit me as hard, which was I guess a good thing. But it was the worst. So yeah, but that's how my one happened.
What about you, Sevu? Yours was in the Blues game, eh?
Man, this is the moment I've been waiting for.
What happened?
I still remember it was just the start of the second half, and I tried to go over the ball, which, I was, seeing the ball there. I was like, went over, and then, a good mate of mine decided to, stop me from hopefully going to the World Cup. No, it was, Rico came for the clean out, and he was, just one of those clean outs where they sort of flip you on the side, and it was just a unlucky one. He was like sort of sitting on my knee and twisted me at the same time. So it was similar to Gio. As soon as it happened, I just felt my knee go, and man, I was like, I tried to get up and run again.
Yeah, I remember.
I got up and I just couldn't even run. I was like, man, I've never had anything like that. That's why I knew straight away this is probably the worst.
Yeah, because you haven't had many injuries either, eh? Like you're built to get through everything.
I've been lucky. This is my first major injury, so hopefully the last as well.
Was it an illegal clean-out type setup or just one of those unlucky ones?
I had the video on my phone. Lucky I didn't have the phone. I didn't have my phone with me. It was just one of those unlucky clean-outs. It was my setup, I was standing over the ball, and when he went to go, because he was sort of sitting on my knee, and when he went to go twist me, and I couldn't even do anything because I sort of had my knee locked in there, and I just couldn't do anything. So
it's nasty, even think about Quinn Tupai's knee injury. That incident is similar to that for you, where you're in that position, and those clean-outs are the ones that are doing guys' knees with some pretty serious damage. Somehow we need to clean up the game in that area where we can get away with not so many of these knee injuries.
True, man. It'll be interesting to see what they do about those clean-outs, because maybe you should have a punishment for the person that actually does a clean-out. And maybe, I was thinking about it.
Here we go.
We're going off topic here. But,
no, it's just good.
He talks about it every day.
But imagine, if, say, someone puts you out for 8 months.
You're out.
Yeah, whoever did that injury to you, or they have to do the same.
Wow.
As well.
Yeah.
It's like a stand down period. Once he's ready to go, and then you're allowed to go.
That would be brutal, eh?
People
would have no players left. We've already got 16 injuries if we take out everyone who got injured. Oh, crazy. So when you find out that you are out for 9 months, how does that news hit you? Obviously, massive year for both of you, Rugby World Cup year. How did you handle it when you were told the news? Because obviously my one happened first. When it first happened, I was just thinking, the best possible outcome. I was like, this is just, like a MCL. The worst was MCL, and I was like, it's just something little, and then had all the scans, and doc told me that, you've done ACL, and that's going to be, and I tried to deny it I still remember for about over a week. I was like, doc, we can do something, and that sounds crazy, but I don't know, the voice in the whole treatment. That actually did go through my mind too as well. Trip to Fiji, get these leaves.
And I was like, man, World Cup year, Super Rugby's just pretty much just getting started. And, but it was so gutted, man. And then, and obviously not long after that, it happened to my mate here as well. So, but in a way, now it's, I've sort of passed that. And having Gio, obviously we're living together, which just makes the journey a bit more sweeter than what it would have been if I did it by myself.
Was it the same for you, Gio?
Yeah, it was, once I kind of did find out the official news from the surgeon, I kind of went in a bit different. My mindset was expecting the worst, I'm expecting that I'm out. So, when he did tell me, I wasn't as down about it. But yeah, I kind of just had I did think about, I guess opportunity missed to represent, possible opportunity to represent our country at a World Cup, one of the biggest, sporting occasions in the world kind of thing. So, and it only comes around every 4 years. And, all those things did go through my mind, but, I'm quite lucky, not lucky, but I am quite like quite religious and quite, I guess, strong in my faith and believe that everything happens for a reason. And I believe that my God kind of puts everything there for a purpose. And so that was kind of also a bit of, helped me with my mindset and to try and stay positive and understand that this is here for a reason. And maybe it's all part of it to learn something about myself and my journey and, maybe find other things outside of rugby that will help myself and my family and my friends. So that's the kind of outlook I've had on it. And, it's started off well for me, and I'm enjoying the rehab at the moment, and still do like look outside and watch the boys train, and you still have that urge of like, man, I wish I was there, but then I kind of just refocus and understand that it's all part of the journey, it's all part of it. So
But it's such a good mindset, such a cool mindset to take into any injury, I think. But you mentioned a few things that you want to do, grow yourself or do outside of rugby. Anything you want to share?
I was actually talking to Sevu the other day that we might actually start like learning how to really get good in the kitchen and a bit of knife skills and baking and stuff like that, because we've got a lot of time. We realize we after rehab and gym in the morning, we've got the whole arvo off, so it'll be good for us to kind of, I guess, expand our knowledge in the culinary.
Nice.
But we've also actually signed up for some coaching courses and stuff. So we've actually got our level 1 coaching certificate
already. Wow, that was quick.
So we're on to it.
Level 1,
and we'll probably get into our level 2. But I guess it's something there that we're just kind of just to stimulate our minds while we're in this kind of stage of rugby. And
is that something you could see yourself both doing post footy?
It's probably under 8s or haven't really thought about it yet post footy in terms of coaching, but I guess we'll have something good to have like that, and we both interact well with people and kids as well, so but we got out on the ball as well, and so I was also thinking, like, because I've got a lot of time as well for myself, it'd be good to kind of maybe pick up on my studies, which I left way behind. Just also to get the mind and the brain kind of ticking, or else I'll just be a gym junkie. And
what study did you do?
I was doing a bit of teaching, and then had my final year, but then I got kind of moved up in the rugby world. And
so you've got 1 year to do to get a teaching degree, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And I think it's still valid. It's been about 5 years now, but I checked it, I think, last week, and it said it's still valid. I was like, oh yeah, it is. We'll see.
And there's one more project that I've seen you sort of doing around the base with a wee camera, etc. But you're holding it pretty tight. What are you guys doing there? What's in the bag there?
What are we doing there?
This is the master planner right here.
Is he? He's like the Peter Jackson of that.
Because when we both obviously found out that we were going to be out for the season, and it was, every day we'd talk about or come up with ideas of new things to try and do, or like fill in time, and then Gio actually mentioned that it'll be cool for us to capture like the journey of getting back to when we do return to play, and it's like a pretty cool thing, because we every day we're just taking photos and videos of all our rehab stuff, and it's just being real in everything we do. So that way and obviously the planners to put all of this together at the end, and and show the fans or the people that follow us, and it'll be good inside. It'll be good for the fans or just the people out there to see what it actually takes to get back to playing, and in the process as well, which is bloody tough.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I love that. And who are you going to just release it on yourselves, or Netflix approaching you?
Well, I've been in contact with Netflix, so and Neon as well. So
you're just playing
waiting for them to reply to my emails. But no, we'll probably just release a few videos here and there on YouTube. Or we're just thinking of a name. So if you got any good names, Jimmy, of
maybe we could put it to the audience. What have you got so far? Any good ones or any ideas?
No, we actually we've thought of some silly ones, but not suitable. But we're just trying to think of a name, and I'm just trying to get my head around video editing and things like that, but we're just trying to make it as real and raw as possible. But also, like, just to cover on the whole idea of it was also just for also people in the same boat that are not in professional environments. Man, I've seen, like, the general public, and if they get an ACL injury, man, like the amount of work it takes for them to get it back to normal is huge. Like, for us to be in every day, it's like a lot of work. So just little videos out there for, I guess, club players that have had the injury, just to help them, see, okay, I can do this and do that, to, I guess, give them a bit of knowledge on how to help them through their injury. And it doesn't also only have to be the knees. It can be whatever. Because Sevu always shares his mindset in rehab and stuff. So he take a few gems from that, whoever's watching the videos. So, but it's just to kind of help the people out there in the same situation, or people that just need a bit of motivation that are going through similar injuries and stuff.
That's so cool. Have you released any yet? No,
not yet.
When's the first release? Like, when are we thinking? When can we expect one? Or is that
this is the Jack Grant of our project? He's all over it, and I'm just going with whatever he tells me to do.
Let's say hopefully by the end of May, early June. We can just probably like a
sneak peek sort of setup.
And we'll kind of run out maybe weekly or every fortnightly kind of videos of our journey up until each of us take the field, which would be pretty cool. And graduate, I guess.
Graduate through the injury process. And you guys, you'd probably be taking the field at the same time roughly too, eh?
Yeah. If we do all the rehab stuff right, if we nail it, and
is it Crusaders 2024 round one?
Yes.
Will that be the game?
Jeez, 2024,
mate. What a day! The new stadium is sold out. The two boys returning.
If we hype it up properly, it'll go good.
And is that something you can see yourself doing? Even post-injury, like a bit more content or content creation?
It'll be, pretty cool. I mean, that's the way the world's moving, like moving. Obviously, you got your podcast like this, and it's reaching out to, the world. Millions, if not billions. But, I guess it's good to like learn those little skills while we can, and just have it in our back pocket for when a time does come in handy. We can always chuck it out there and use our skills then. So, I'll definitely be trying to learn the most I can about how all this technology works and video editing and things like that. So, but it's quite fun, once you kind of get another video, edit together, and it's like, whoa, this is actually quite cool, and you can actually be real creative and use your creative juices. It's pretty. It's actually quite addictive.
I can see you're excited, mate. You're born for it. Oh, that's good stuff. But one thing I do want to talk to you guys about, obviously you both got really awesome journeys, the way you've sort of come through, Sevu from Fiji and Gio from second 15 of your school. But I do want to go through those journeys. We'll start with you, Sevu, growing up in Fiji. What was it like for you growing up in Fiji? Obviously, I've been over there a couple times now, and you always just see the kids just playing just footy all the time, like in the water or on any field they can get on. It's next level over there,
like you said, that's all I knew, and I was just, obviously that was the life that I knew. I grew up in Fiji. I was born there. It wasn't until I was 15. And when I moved over to New Zealand, then that's sort of when I, moved over here, and then, it's a way different life that we live here, and then that's, you just have all these moments, the flashback moments. You just, just so grateful, and of the life that I managed to live in Fiji, and what my parents taught me, and just everything, things that I could carry with me for forever. And that was pretty, it's special. Growing up in the islands.
Mm.
Also then moving over here, trying to get a life, and make the most of every opportunity that comes my way. And I didn't even think any of this would be possible, or I would be sitting here. But yeah,
So, so what actually brought you over to New Zealand? You came to Hamilton Boys.
Yes, yeah. So when I was 15, I was 15. I was playing first 15 in Fiji.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and I was playing first 15 for my school in Fiji, and my team, we made it to the finals that year. And like they do every year, they have all these schools that come over to Fiji to give scholarships to kids that they think go good at rugby and stuff like that. So I was I still remember I was approached by this Australian school, and just like any other kid in Fiji, man, it's any opportunity that comes your way, you don't really think twice about it. You just almost I'm taking this one, because anything to get out of Fiji, just for a better life. And and then so that Australian school came to me, and I was all set to go to Australia, and wasn't that, because that was the semi-final week that Australian school approached me, and the week after, and that's when Hamilton Boys approached me. And they approached me, and I told them, "Oh, sorry, I've already said yes to the school here in Australia," and so it was all set that I was going to move to Australia. And because Hamilton Boys, I didn't know that Henry Spade, all those boys, they went to that school. And so what Hamilton Boys did, they got hold of Henry Spade and a few other Fijian boys to message me to tell me that go to Hamilton Boys, and when I saw their messages and stuff like that, and being a Fijian, you look, because I remember Henry Spade, all those boys, you look up to them growing up, and straight away I was like, oh man, that'll be cool. And I was telling my old man, oh no, let's just change it. I want to go here now. And we changed it, and at the end of that year, moved to New Zealand. I went straight to the boarding house, and went straight to school there. So,
that's crazy. So you're almost an Aussie, mate. You could have been playing for the Wallabies. Jeez, sliding doors, eh? That's crazy. And what position were you in Fiji? Because you've got all the skills, goal kicking, kick-offs, mate.
So in Fiji, I was playing second five and fullback.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I was playing second five and fullback.
And kicking goals?
And kicking goals too, actually. Moved over to New Zealand, even for the first 15 here in Hamilton. I was playing the similar positions. I was playing 12 and 15.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't play wing at all. And this is a fun fact. I've never played wing my whole life until I made my first debut for Waikato.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's just like any other Fijian, right? If you're lock or anything, you'll end up on the wing. I'm telling you that.
There you go, Gio. You'll end up
on the wing, right? Whether you like it or not.
No, it's opposite for me. It was opposite, Brad.
Yeah.
Well, and how did you find going to Hamilton Boys? Obviously, I've spoken to Noah about it on his episode, like how professional and how full on that rugby program is. Coming from Fiji, it must have been an eye opener.
Man, I was just like, because I went to a boarding school in Fiji as well. So in the boarding school here, like in Hamilton, I just comparing the two of them, I was like, man, this is like a hotel, compared to what I just left. And but it was, man, their training, their program there is, it's just crazy. That's why they the best in the world, because they won that world first 15 or whatever it's called. And Yeah, and because Noah's old man actually, he coaches.
Was he your coach?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
true,
yeah. It's a funny story. Like when we used to train first 15, would be, full on into our training, and Noah would just be on the sidelines. He was still a little. Honestly, I see even now. I'm always telling him, you were still in nappies when you were still in nappies when we were to first 15 training. But yeah, it was crazy because he was actually on the sidelines. Would be like the ball boy would be, giving us or running in water too as well and stuff like that. And,
crack up.
yeah. But yeah, training. They train like Monday mornings and. They almost train like 3 times a day, and that's almost they train more than club rugby, And then for their preseason games, they would play like prem teams, like club teams.
Yeah.
Honestly, they just I don't know what Noah's old man's thinking. Like, I'll just put all these kids to play, all these dads and all these older guys, but it's that's just how they do it, and it's been working for a very long time. And it's pretty cool and just special too.
Yeah,
part of that.
Completely different to your school, eh, Gio?
Well, completely different. Jimmy, far out, man. Maybe one training a week for our first 15.
But so you grew up in Wellington, am I right? Born in New Zealand, grew up in Wellington?
Yep. Born and raised in Lower Hutt, Wellington.
Yeah.
And then went to did all my schooling there in the Hut. Up until my dear Taita College.
That's right.
Yeah, so
first All Black ever from that prestigious school.
Yeah, I thought there was one way before, but they must have just got a photo of someone and just put it on the wall.
A supporter.
Apparently I am the first All Black from Taita College, and it's pretty special, I guess. Especially from a neighbourhood that's quite a low socioeconomic area, and it's always good going back and going to my club and showing, the next gen that it is possible from you just have to put in the hard work. So,
And Sevu was obviously a very gifted rugby player, gifted athlete, scouted at a very young age. I think you were quite different, weren't you? You weren't exactly the one everyone was trying to get in their first 15, were you?
Yeah, I was the one carrying the water bottles on for the second 15. Yeah, boys, I'm here. If you need a sub, just let me know. Oh man, far out. Definitely a bit of a late bloomer. I didn't do a single gym at school, at high school. I didn't start gymming till I think I was 20 or. I was just grateful. Just loved rugby though. Still loved rugby and watching and playing when I got minutes. So, wasn't the. Kind of came up the long way around and slowly grafted away and grind away and eventually kind of got there. So
you weren't in the first 15 at all. You're literally the water carrier.
There were times where I was like, oh yeah, we might need you on the bench. Oh, okay, sweet. Yeah, gear up. But, I was first 15 for a bit, but I remember playing second 15 as well, and because I wasn't needed first 15. But I guess at the time then I wasn't probably back the coach as well, because I probably wasn't a great rugby player then. I was just overweight. I was unfit, didn't understand rugby at all. So so
how did it all turn around for you? How do you go from that position to one of the great All Blacks?
I started after high school I started kind of hitting the gym and taking rugby a bit more serious and started to get a bit more fitter. And was playing a lot of sevens, like club sevens, because club seven scene in Wellington's huge. So it was a good way to get myself fit and get my skills up to par and things like that. So and I started to kind of my rugby style kind of to change, and I started to enjoy it a lot more because I was a lot more fitter, I was a lot more skillful, and it's kind of transferred from a prop through to I was playing 7 and 8 for Avalon Prems back then.
Really?
So it was a transition from that front row to Lucy's, and oh man, I love playing Lucy's. It was a lot more freedom, no scrums. It was like but and that's kind of how I kind of started getting into more serious rugby, and I was fortunate enough after that high school to get straight into, or make Wellington under-20s, I think, back then. Yeah, so yeah,
as a Lucy,
as a prop,
as a prop.
But I was playing Prem's Lucy, but they accepted me as a prop, so I don't know how that happened, but I was jamming prop. So, but yeah, it was just that. I think the last 2 years the 2 years after high school was just that little change of mindset and fitness and gym and kind of changed the way I played rugby like rapidly. Yeah, it just all of a sudden changed, and I guess that's when the rugby genetics started kicking in and stuff. I realized, I can actually play. I can actually play, man. So
that's cool. Sevens, you don't often see props, especially like unfit props, go and put themselves out on the sevens field, because that's like the worst place you want to be if you're an unfit prop with, like you said, not so that much skill, but once you sort of unleashed it, putting yourself in that that sort of environment, mate, you flourished.
It was actually a village team from where I'm from in Fiji. They formed up in Wellington, and so because I'm from there, I'm like, I'm going to represent and that's how I kind of started playing a bit of sevens. And we went up to Thai level sevens, which is a huge kind of Fijian sevens comp in Auckland, and and I guess growing up as Fijians, sevens is the number one sport you watch because Fiji is so good at it, and we love the way they play. They're just so fluid, and so you want to go and do that as well because you're Fijian. So that's what also kind of inspired me to play a bit of sevens as well, because it's in our blood as Fijians. And
they love it. Fijians love the sevens. So then you end up getting picked up by Otago. How did that happen?
Yeah, so I was playing club rugby at Wellington, and then my uncle works on the Inter-Islander, and so he's He's an engineer on the Inter-Islander, and so he's talking to an electrician on the Inter-Islander, and his name was Marty Paris. And Marty's like, we're looking for a few Fijian boys, Tongan boys, Samoan boys, if you know anyone, to come and play for our club in Dunedin. And then my uncle's, I think I called my nephew back at home, so he comes back to me and he's like, these guys in Dunedin, send them your rugby CV and they'll pay for your flights down and sort you out with accommodation, and you can go play club for them for a season. I was like, but at the time, I guess my fiance now was living down there. We went together, so I was like, she's down there as well. So it's she believes she's the reason why I moved down, but we'll just say it was Harbour Hawks. But ended up sending it through, and then Harbour Hawks kind of shipped me down, and ended up moving down to Dunedin, and I began a new life there, and it was so new to me. I mean, seeing the student life, and like living up in Wellington, have no idea what's down south until you move down there, and it's like, wow, this is actually a big university town. There's so many young people here. It's actually a nice like little scene to be part of when you're 19, 20, 21. So Harbour Hawks shipped me down, and played club rugby for Harbour Hawks. Sponsored by Chipmunks. I'm sure Spates will know a lot about Harbour Hawks as well. So, ended up playing, I think, 80 odd Prem games for them. So,
80 club games.
They'll be like, no, only 70 something, but I think it must be, So,
So, how many seasons did you do before Otago came knocking?
So I moved down that 2014. That was almost a decade ago. And then, that year there were shortages in props, so I managed to get one cap in that 2014. The year I moved down, I was in there for a couple months, and I played for Otago, and there was Tay Walden, they had Lee Allen, not Lee Allen, Lee Allen, they had a few of the Aki Seoli, a few of the older dogs. I call them the old Otago boys, but because they're all gone now, but they're all playing overseas. But and so played that one, and was kind of in the mixer up until didn't get a cap until 2018, I think. So
4 years.
4 years,
wow.
4 years where I didn't get any sunlight.
How'd the debut go? No good.
It was good. We lost against Northland. I think that's when Dan Pryor carved up against us, and he ended up getting contracted to Highlanders the year after. So, it was debut, and I just remember how fast the game was. I was like, first professional game, I was like, this is fast, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how fast the game was. I was only, I think, 109, 110 dripping wet.
Oh,
and I was still holding the scrum, but just. So Otago, I think that summer they gave me a whole lot of mass protein to go away,
Bulk
go
out.
shift some tin. Boy, came back the next year, 125. 125. So I ran a PB Bronco that year before, that 2014, came back 125. I think I was one of the slowest props. I think I ran like a 15 yo-yo.
Oh, wow.
I was like, that's real low. Eh?
It is
I was,
low.
and like
It's a couple
the other
of
props were
lengths.
like, was that you breathing? I was like, nah, but it was me. I was just big. Eh? I was like, it was probably one of the strongest I've ever been, but just so unfit. Like I didn't get that balance right. It was no good. Eh? They just told me, hey, go bulk up, come back.
You don't know, do you?
Oh, you don't know. You don't know any better. I'm like, I'm listening to you. All right, I'm going to go bulk up. Don't do any fitness. I did no fitness. Like, I did no running at all. I had no idea. I was like, what is this, man? Now thinking back to it, I'm like, fuck, that is silly, man. That is silly. Yeah.
Well, it sort of took you 4 years to find that balance to become the right weight, right fitness, and understand the game that you were trying to play, right?
Yeah, I guess 4 years, I kind of, gets a bit more mature and you realize that, you have to have that fitness in your game. You can't just be big and strong. And once again, I took on sevens again and I started training with the Otago sevens. If you probably wouldn't believe it. And actually went to go jam a tournament for Otago B7s in Oamaru. So I was like, and I found it was a good way to get me fit again, skills back up. So over the 4 years, it was just finding that balance and getting the balance right between the size and the fitness and the skills and things like that. And fortunate enough, when I was, I didn't get injured or anything. Being a different size, I was quite lucky that I didn't get injured, and my body was able to withstand that weight. But I managed to trim it right back down and kind of in 2018 and kind of played for Otago again. And so that was pretty cool to get called up here by Tom Donnelly and Ben Herring, and they gave me an opportunity. And then, I took it with both hands. And I think there was this one game, and it was against Canterbury. And I think I played like 76, 77 minutes of the whole game. Like I got called into Otago, we need you, boys have gone down. I hadn't been training with them, and so I went in, played like 70 and still felt fit, 76 minutes. And then,
sevens.
I was like, man, the sevens, that lower kind of energy reserve is there. So, and then lucky enough, that was the game that Jace Ryan was watching. And so he kind of based his selection for preseason off that game. And so he came into Crusaders after that through Jace Ryan. And the main reason why he's picked me was because he saw how long I was working for the engine that I had.
The right man to impress.
And my old man always told me, like, you just never know who's watching. Every game, every opportunity you get, just take it with two hands, because you never know. So that's pretty cool. But that's a kind of the long journey that I had up into professional rugby. So.
Yeah. What about you, Sevu? You were a bit different, eh? You sort of just broke straight onto the scene and NPC, scoring tries for fun all over the show. No fitness issues or anything.
My final year in school, first 15, I was very, very lucky. I got signed on my last year in school when I was in year 13, and and then at the end of that year, did pre-season and stuff, and I was kind of similar to George, started playing sevens and actually started playing sevens, and I actually started to take sevens like pretty seriously, because I was like, man, like I would love to actually play sevens like internationally, and but then obviously I had to kind of stop because I was playing Mitre 10, and it was my first year, so I was just had to be like had my best foot forward every time, so played Mitre 10 2016, and it was my first year. Played, how many years was that? Yeah, and similar to Gio, they named the Super Rugby team was the end of 2018. Because every year when I was playing Mitre 10, you sort of set different goals every year, and a big dream of mine was to play Super Rugby. And I don't know, this sounds crazy, but because I came straight from Fiji to Hamilton, and Chiefs was the only team that I knew, and I was just I'd love to play for the Chiefs, and that was the only team that I wanted to play for. and I stayed there. I'd go in and train with them. When they have injuries or need numbers, and but I was just doing that for like 4 years. I was just doing that, and nothing really happened.
Oh, true. Was it that long?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and talks would they'd like tell me all these things, and this is this. You need to grow this, and it wasn't until the end of maybe 2018 when they named the Super Rugby teams, and I remember I woke up that morning and all the teams had been released, and it was like no phone calls, no nothing, and I was just like, man, dude, and I was just gutted because I felt that I've been playing some good rugby, and again I was that morning I was just laying there, just seeing the Super Rugby team, and literally I just got up to have breakfast and my phone went off and was like ringing, and I seen this number and I was just like, man, I don't know whose number is this, so I just let it ring, and I was like, hey, no, never mind, we'll wait. And then rang again, but when he rang again, I wasn't by my phone, but he left a voicemail, and then I picked it up, and the voicemail was, hey, Reece, it's Scott Robertson here.
Oh, true.
Yeah. And I thought it was just someone taking the piss, because probably some of my mates knew how bad, I wanted to play Super Rugby. And and I picked the phone up and I rang it back, and it was Razor. And, it was just like, oh, hey, mate, we've got a few All Blacks that's, like the All Blacks, they come, they don't do the preseason, and so he's like, oh, we've got a few All Black boys. It'd be great if if you want to come down and join us for preseason. And straight away, I told him, oh, mate, I would literally do anything right now. I would, I'd leave today if I'd like to come down to Christchurch. And then he told me, oh, mate, our manager will get in touch with you. And that was good old Fletch. Sorted flights, everything. And that was the turning point pretty much. And and I guess that's where I first met Jilt as well. Yeah. I still remember that came down to the screening thing that they do, where you just, with the physios and do all these testings and stuff. Yeah. And that was the first time I actually met Jill, and I was talking to him, and it wasn't until later, and I asked him, I was like, oh, what position do you play? Because I thought he was actually a Lucy. Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. The whole time I thought he was a Lucy. That was good times, man. And from when they all happened, and with Israel Dag, because he announced his retirement at the start of 2019, and because I was cover for him. That's and then they told me a few months after that they were like, oh, we'll keep you down here because Israel Dag's just announced his retirement. So, but I was so that's happy. Crazy, yeah. It was good, but for Israel Dag as a top man, and watching him when I was growing up as just a crazy athlete, man.
Yeah. What was the feedback you were getting that was stopping you from getting an opportunity earlier? It seems a long time, 4 years.
Yeah. Some of I call bull on some of those feedbacks that some of those coaches are giving me. I was like, because you look at me like I'm not the tallest,
high ball sort of things,
like not the tallest, and they said to me basically that they've got this list of players, and I'm literally right at the bottom. They had James Lowe, all these other boys like Tony Pulu, like all these other guys there, and then they pretty much said to me, oh, you've got all these guys, and we just think they're better than you. I still remember, I don't know if I should say his name. I still remember the conversation that was with Straws.
Yeah.
Good old Straws. Just told me that, I had all these guys in front of me, and I wasn't good enough to play Super yet. I remember it was me and him in the room, and I was like, he was telling me that I didn't even know how to take it. I was like, oh, wow. And then it wasn't until we played the Chiefs that my first game was it was when we played the Chiefs. Was
Oh,
here in
yeah.
Christchurch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was the best feeling. And I still remember that week when Razor told me, "Oh, you're going to be starting this week," and it was against the Chiefs, and I was like, "Man, this is the game I wanted to play." And then, you know, that game there was a cool game, and played all right. And so the game was on, I don't know, Friday or Saturday, and then by Sunday, the Chiefs pretty much had a contract again for me. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So the game was on Friday or Saturday, and then on that Sunday, the Chiefs wanted to sign me because they knew that I was just here for injury.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So those cheeky guys, man, they straight away they're like, "Oh, I've got a contract here for you. You know, if you want to sign it, like
You are
the
ready."
faster you sign it, the faster you sign it.
Yeah.
They're
Pass the
come back now,
test.
I
son.
was so close to telling them, "No, I'm not ready yet." But yeah, that was that's pretty much the journey. Yeah.
Far out. That's crazy. Yeah. And then your journey to the All Blacks happened pretty quick.
Yeah, see that. Yeah, I mean, up until now, that was like that's.
Oh,
I don't even know how it happened. Yeah, it was freaky, man. And it was 2019, let alone my first game for Super Rugby, and in that year, 2019 as well, was when I first got selected into the All Blacks, and it was a World Cup year too as well, and like things were like happening so fast for me, and I was like, man, like I was just like, almost watching things unfold, and I'm like, man, that's crazy. And and I mean, like, I was pretty lucky too as well that, I had guys like Richie and Davey that, those guys, if I'm being honest here, those guys could make people look good.
Yeah.
Like, as much as that, but those guys, that's what they do, man. Like, Davey, man, he's a wizard. Like, things he can do, and even Richie, like most of my tries I scored that year was off Richie's kicks.
Cross kicks.
Yeah.
I remember.
That's most of it was off Richie's cross kicks, and got to a point I was like, man, this is good. I'm scoring tries. Maybe I'll just keep doing this. And it happened so fast, and I managed to be that year. I was consistent every week, and all this All Blacks talk and stuff. Honestly, I didn't even think about it at all. And they named the first for the Rugby Championship. They named the first squad, and it was live on TV. I still remember, and because George and I, we lived together too on our first year. So we're both laying down.
Us too.
So two of us, we were just laying down there watching the TV, just laying there while the guy was just like naming and then
Kieran Reece.
That's right. Yeah, it was Kieran
Sevu,
Reece.
Reece. Tasman.
It was actually like
Crusaders.
that. It was Kieran Reece was before me. Yeah, and they named called my name out, and man, it's like a dream. Yeah.
Boy, this guy just sunk into the couch like that, and I went and started hugging him, kissing him on his forehead. I was like, man, far out. And then his phone just started going off. Boy, it was awesome to experience that moment with Sev. So.
And when did you get named? Not this time.
My one was when was it? 2020.
After the World Cup.
The year after.
That's right.
And then so.
And what was your announcement like? Were you guys together for that one as well?
No, it was during Mitre 10.
Oh yeah,
So
we were already in.
they're already in camp.
We were in camp.
Oh yeah.
Paul Moods went down, and then Sass, Tom Donnelly called me into his room, and he was like, George, I want to talk to you this morning. We're about to kick off a meeting, and he was like talking about my game in the weekend. I was like, oh yeah. And then he got a call. From Shandy from the All Blacks, and then he gave the phone to me, and he knew it was coming. He just told me to get in, so he gave the phone to me, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is Shandy. We're calling to say that you've been selected to travel to Australia, the 2020 Australia squad or something like that." And man, I was just head down, and I was like, "Fuck." I was kind of like, tears, and then Sass was like, "We'll go." Tell the team, and so went into the team room for Otago, and Sass told the team, and everyone started cheering, and that's when I was like, I can't hold these tears, man. This is an awesome moment. It's such a special moment, man. So I found out with my Otago boys, and straight after that called the parents, and the missus, and yeah. So that
That's
was
so cool, eh?
Yeah.
And then what was it like for you going into the environment? Did you feel comfortable or like?
Yeah, it was definitely intimidating.
Yeah.
My first roommate was Sam Kane. So, we got to Australia, Sydney. Sammy. But Sammy, my hand's shaking like this. And then got there. But fortunately enough, it was the first night. Because, I'm not a snorer, but I snore. And so the first night I knocked out, and I was, just trying to go to sleep straight away. And then all of a sudden I just hear, roll over, or like, I just hear pillows, like, I was like, fuck, it was my snoring. And I was like, fuck, I can't sleep with this guy. And then the next day we had to change roomies because my snoring is too much for Sammy. So I swapped with Alex, with Joe Moody. Joe Moody moved in with Sammy, and I went with Alex Hodgman, who's another quite a snorer. So, and we're quite deep sleepers as well, so we cancel each other out. So fortunately enough, my experience with Sammy Kane, I was like, at the time, being new to the All Blacks environment is quite scary, but lucky my snoring got me out of that. I room with him now, but like back then I was like, far out, Sammy Kane, it's like shit.
Oh, that's great. So, snoring, don't room with Big Gio then. And then your first game, mate, like what was that experience like?
Oh yes, that was at Mount Smart. That was 2021 was my first game. Yeah,
Tonga was it?
Yeah, at the Tonga against Tonga, where I came off the bench and yeah. I remember singing the national anthem and, same old story. The tears come rolling down your eyes and you think of, the sacrifice and the journey that you've been through while you're singing the anthem, and you just sing it with so much pride and passion, and because it comes from the heart, man. It's a special feeling, and you don't feel it much like doing anything else. It's a different feeling, and then running out against Tonga and I guess getting my kind of taste of international rugby was definitely a special moment, and the whole family were there to celebrate and watch me receive my cap. So when
did you feel like you were good enough to be in the All Blacks? Did you feel like it from the start, or do you still feel like it, or like?
I don't know. I think kind of I don't know. Definitely no. At the start, I definitely didn't feel like I was, I guess, good enough to be a part of the team. But I always get told, I'm selected there for a reason by my family and friends, and I always put my best foot forward. And so I kind of had to try and change my mindset to I actually deserve to be here. I actually am here for a reason, and I need to put my best foot forward and really push for a place in the 23 kind of thing. And so that was probably after that, my debut. After the Fiji games, I think it was that year, then my mindset started to change, and I was like, I really need to be the number one prop kind of thing, and just have that mindset so you can actually push harder, not just be a float around and say, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be All Black now. And no, you can't have that in that environment, or else you get figured out quite quickly, and someone younger and stronger can come up easily and take that spot. So So
what about you, Sevu? Are you similar, or are you pretty confident all the way through?
Nah, honestly, no. Because, like that, like at the start, like I said, that 2019, you had guys like, you had like Bridgie, Rico, had Ben Smith, was sucking the whole of those boys, and that's why I was just so focused in like just trying to play consistently in Super Rugby. And when the All Blacks happened, it's almost like I had to adapt faster to as well, quicker, if I want to be, obviously, because like what George said, you get recognised for a reason, and you obviously have to almost play up to that standard, and show them why, they chose you for a reason. So you have to show them why, you belong there, and then just have to start growing your game like very fast, and then every year, there's always this like new guys that's coming through, or like you see guys carving up at Super Rugby level. That's just gives you the biggest headache. You're just like man, and but it's a good thing. It's a healthy thing to have, and it just keeps you on your toes and makes you work hard every day. So if you want to be at the international level, and up until now, it's yeah, no, it's nice watching all these, especially now, even now, being out injured. Just watching like the Super Rugby every week, and you're like, man, seeing all these guys carve up, you're like, oh man, these coaches probably forgotten us by next year. Like, no, hang on, who's that?
So in your first year, was it, you said Rugby World Cup, yeah. So those massive games, I remember going to that first one, South Africa, and seeing you out there and being like, wow, this is like must be such a cool experience for you.
Yeah, like, you know, I mean, like.
Is it in Auckland?
Nah, Japan.
No, the one in
sorry.
Japan.
That was a World Cup, sorry.
Yeah. 2011. You weren't in the 2011 one, were you?
No. Sorry. The World Cup, man, because, like, you know, it's World Cup is the pinnacle of rugby, you know. It's like I was there, I still remember, you know, when they named the team, and the All Blacks, you know, at training when they named the team, you know, for the World Cup, and I was like in a way, I was like, man, like being selected to go to the World Cup, it's like, I don't know what can beat that, you know, and then being able to play, like, it's even more special, and you just standing out there running out, and you just see the stadium packed, and obviously we made it right up to the semi-finals, and even before the semi-finals, I was like, man, like, when the semi-finals, like, this is top 4 if we do well here, you know. Who knows, you could be part of winning, you know, lift up that Rugby World Cup. But yeah, it was just, I can't even find the words to describe.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then talk to me about sort of last year. Obviously, you didn't get as many opportunities last year. What do you sort of put that down to? Yeah. What are your thoughts around that?
In the All Blacks environment, when you don't get selected, like you know, they sit you down and you catch up with the coaches and they give you feedback and they give you feedback and stuff like that, which allows you to go and work on it when you do have work on times. And so you need to have those feedbacks and you just keep doing it. And it was frustrating for me because, you know, because like last year I felt, you know, it felt good. I was like, you know, consistent and but then you go into that environment and obviously it's up to the coaches, you know, the type of gameplay they want to play and all these things. And like you said earlier, you know, it's like a few times I've been told that you're not going to play this game because this is going to be a high ball game. And like I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, like, don't get me wrong, I can still get up, you know, but it's
just because I'm short doesn't mean I can't jump.
Like I've been told, like, actually, a few times that I'm not going to get played because this game here, you know, this team's going to kick us out all high balls and stuff. And I'm like, man, that's sad. Yeah. This guy's sad, guys, eh?
Sorry, Sevu, you're not playing today. Your scrumming is...
And, you know, last year, and you had all these guys too as well, like, you know, like I said, wingers in New Zealand, like, it's a pretty tough position too as well, man. Like, you know, now you've got, like Caleb Clark was in there, Mumble was in there too as well. Leicester, like just all those guys. It's competition's always just real tough.
And what about you, Gio? Last year for you, how was it going? Before you got injured, how were you feeling?
Yeah, I was feeling good. It was definitely a lot more. I guess last year there were a lot more. I felt the props, the front rows had a lot more competition in terms of starting and trying to get into that 23, especially the loose heads. There was Gruder, myself, and Offa, so we're kind of going at it, which was good. It was healthy competition, and that's what you want because that's the only way you can grow. If there's no competition, then how can you get better, kind of thing. So, managed to get a few games and rest a few games as well. So, found it still an awesome opportunity to you know, be a part of the All Blacks last year and travel to that Northern Tour and as well as South Africa and still be a part of it and kind of in the mixer. So for me, it was also kind of learnt a lot about my game and scrumming at that level against some big boys as well and kind of getting my head around it and taking a bit with me that I can kind of, I guess, feed on now to know, what it takes, kind of thing. So, but yeah, I did enjoy last year, and got some good game time for the All Blacks as well, which is fortunate. And yeah.
How good. So what are the plans going forward for you guys once you're recovered? Are you both signed with the Crusaders for 2 more years?
Yeah, till next year. End of next year, yeah.
End of next year. And you're the same, or you one longer?
Hasn't been released yet, but
okay.
just letting you know. But it's another 25 till 25. So,
how good is that?
Yeah. So.
When's that going to be released?
I'm not too
Once
sure.
this episode's released.
Is this live? Yeah.
And is that with New Zealand Rugby as well?
Yeah. Fortunate enough, yes, yeah. So,
how good.
Another 2 years in New Zealand, and I guess I kind of made my decision around good to kind of settle down here, and I think it's start a life with my partner here as well. And you never know, I might have a kid or two, and start a little family here before I get older and wiser.
Yeah. And, speaking of kids, you've got another one on the way pretty soon too, don't you?
Yeah. Well, literally anytime now. So.
Anytime now. Here we go.
Yeah.
Keep the phone on.
That's exciting. And like I said, with this injury, because when I had my first daughter, I remember I was at the birth and had to pack my bags and leave the day after.
Oh, true.
Yeah, to head off with the All Blacks, and that was tough because I missed, I think so, like the first 8 weeks.
8 weeks, wow.
Yeah, missed the first 8
tough,
weeks. So that was tough. And like now, with this injury, like sort of the timings of everything, kinds of falls like perfectly, because now I could be there to help my partner and just be there for those important, crucial times.
Yeah.
Do you know what you're having?
Another girl.
Oh.
Hey, what if
it's
a boy?
Yeah. That's what I was
it's happened before.
Oh, sure. Any minute, an exciting time. So you're signed with the Crusaders and New Zealand Rugby Union for 1 more year?
Yeah, 1 more year. Well, 1 more year, because the whole plan was to this year was a World Cup year, try, play good rugby and go to another World Cup. And, I guess things probably could have looked different if I wasn't injured.
Yeah.
But now, because I'm injured, sort of, puts me up for, 1 whole year or this whole year. So, now I'm sort of, having to rethink again. What my plans are going to be. So maybe stick around New Zealand for a bit longer. Who knows? Yeah.
So you're only 26, is that right?
Yeah.
And you're 30, Gio.
30, yes.
30.
Yeah.
Still so young, both of you. Hey?
Young for a prop.
Young for a
Yeah,
prop.
exactly. Young for a prop.
Another 10 years for me.
Do you reckon you'll be able to play till 40?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah,
Oh,
I reckon I can. I'm quite a kind of, didn't play professional rugby till I was 26,
later,
so I'm still fresh, eh?
Mate, you're only 4 years in.
Yeah.
40, well, that's going to be good stuff. What about you? Bit harder for a winger to still be going when you're 40, unless
that's
Sorelli Bobo.
That's what I was. Yeah, we were talking about.
Fijians can play till they're whatever
how
age.
old did he play?
No, is it? But is he still playing now?
I'm not sure.
He just finished
I think he's like 58 now.
He probably is.
He was. Yeah, he was just. Yeah, that's all right. No, that's it's for wingers. Yeah, it's a lot, man. Like, cause his speed becomes thing. But
you'll just move.
That's
in
when
back
you just
to
move
your
in.
12,
Yeah, exactly.
10,
It's like
7.
all those other things.
Join me, man. Come
And
join
then
me,
end
brother.
up halfback. See, and then finish up at 9. My retirement.
Sevu Reece about to throw into the line.
Have any of you got ambitions to play overseas at all at any point? Or, don't know, just see sort of how it looks. You obviously probably did up until the injuries. That's sort of where you're going,
I was, I had plans of, would want to just go and experience what life is and what rugby is overseas. And, like I said, like you mentioned earlier, I mean, I'm still young. I could always come back to New Zealand. But yeah, I 100% would love to go overseas and see what it's all about there.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I guess being pro rugby players, you can use it to travel the world now as well. So definitely after I'm done New Zealand, maybe look over to Europe or the American competition by then could be I'm doing really well, or potentially Japan. So it's I'll use it to go and travel the world and see other sides and I guess experience other cultures as well. So
mate, your content game would be unreal in America.
Man. So if anyone's looking for a content creator next couple of years, give me a shout out.
Oh, but that does segue beautifully into these questions actually, because one of the first ones is around the Drua team. Ndrua team. Would you ever play for Fiji Ndrua?
I don't. Yeah, if I'm being honest, I mean, I would love to.
Yeah,
I'd love to play for the draw, but I don't think, or
financially, is it?
No, I mean, or I don't even know. I mean, if they get paid well, or but I mean, that I'd probably, if I had to go play for the draw, would probably be later in my career. Yeah.
Just to finish, because obviously we played them over there this year. You're a god over there. Everyone loves you. There's Sevu chants all over the town, mate. But must have been a pretty cool experience to play it over against them.
No, it was cool, and because that was the first time my families watched me play.
Oh, really?
Before I left. Before I left. Fiji. Yeah.
Far out.
Yeah, so it was cool, but that question, to play for the draw probably later in my rugby career, or
I'd definitely love to play for the draw. It would be an awesome experience playing for a country team, kind of like Fiji, for Fiji kind of thing. So for draw,
based in Fiji,
that'd be
awesome. You loved that, don't you? With your singing
Fiji.
when we were over.
Mate, what a spot! My kids love it over there too. They always want to go to Fiji. That's where they ask to go. Whenever I say, "Do you want to go somewhere?" they say Fiji.
Jeez, boy, it's a beautiful place.
It's a beautiful country, but it's so cool that they're doing so well as well. Seeing them beat sides like the Canes,
top 8 at the moment,
and they're probably going to make it. Looking at the rest of the draw, so it's pretty cool to pretty cool for Super Rugby.
Dark horse.
They would be hoping that.
Well, they're definitely a different team at home. Man, they are. You were obviously out there. You were out there too.
Yes,
you're both out there that day. What was it like for front rower in the heat, sweaty ball?
Far out. I rolled my ankle early on in the game.
Because the fields are a little bit marginal.
The grass, that's how long the grass. You couldn't even see your boots when, your boots were covered. It's like,
to cover all the divots.
Man, I ran into a divot when I was kind of carrying my ankle roll like this. I was like, nah. So the rest of the game, I was in the hurt lock. I was battling my scrumming. I could only scrum on one leg, and I was just waiting for the coaches to pull me.
He was like doing
I can't do this, man.
It was like a single leg scrum. It was like a single leg scrum.
But it was my main kind of block shoulder too. So I was like, far out. I'm in one here, man. But it's definitely a different environment to play in. The field, the heat, the crowd, all those little factors, they do have an impact on the players mentally as well, kind of thing, especially if you're used to playing at the top of the line fields with the lights, the weather's always perfect kind of thing. It's different. That's why it's so different going over there, because it's just environments that we're not used to, but the draw love it. They love it because it's home.
They eat it up. It's cool. It's cool to have an experience like that in Super Rugby. Okay, next question. Who was your favourite player growing up?
My one was Waisalesa Reeve. Just watching Sevens.
Of course, mate.
Just how, the magician, man. The magician, just how graceful he was, just made everything look so easy, and how he could just fool people just on the field. It was...
Very similar to you on the Sevens field, by all accounts.
I always thought I would look like him, but nah. What's the playback? That definitely is.
What about you, Sevu?
Because in Fiji, man, that's all we, growing up there. Growing up in Fiji, you'd you don't know any other players. You just watch Fiji Sevens or the 15s. So just watch Sevens a lot, and like William Ryder.
Oh yeah, the footwork of that man.
Him. I remember just watching him, and every time I'd go out on the field playing with my mates, you'd just pretend to be him. And and funny because when I moved to New Zealand, and then sort of, I started to watch more the All Blacks and the Crusaders, the Super Rugby, and actually it was one of my. I mean, this guy knows it as well, but he gives me so much about it as well. Daggy, so Dag, Ezra Dag. He was my favorite.
Oh, was he?
And sorry, I still remember he did this interview with me when he was with Sky Sports in 2019. At the end of that year, he did this interview with me because I know all the stalking they do. They go through all your social media, and then he found like on my Facebook, like right down, it was like 2000 and probably like 2011 or 13. I changed my profile photo to him, and then he told me that was like in this massive interview. He told me to tell him the story. And he was just there telling him, tell him the story, and I had to tell him the story about it. So Israel Dag was. It was actually one of my favourites. Yeah, the Goosey, that guy.
Oh, jeez, mate, that's crazy. And then you end up replacing him.
And then I end up replacing him. Yes,
that is crazy. And it's a little bit like what in your story of how you pick up the Super Rugby trophy as a teacher, and then you get the photo of you holding it a couple of years later. Talk me through that one.
No, that was So I was a teacher aide, and then we were. That's when the Highlanders won the Super Rugby trophy in 2015. So we all got visited at schools, and then I managed to pick up the trophy and get it. I didn't think we were allowed to, but I didn't get fined or anything. But I did say I did get fined. Anyways, I got a photo with it.
This guy's good.
And then I guess fast forward a couple years later, 4 years later, managed to play in a grand final with the Crusaders at home here against Jaguares, and we lift the trophy again, and I'm holding it in the changing rooms, and like, man, this is actually
you've done it.
Yeah, you've done it, kind of thing, and like and that was my debut year for Super Rugby as well as this fella. So for us to both be a part of the finals, and lift the Super Rugby trophy, it was you just think about like how things happen, like that, man,
it's crazy. The game of rugby and how it all aligns and how everything pans out. It is crazy, but so cool, and that's why I love talking to people about it. But who was the last player you want to see chasing you after an intercept? Who do you hate? Who would you not like to see? You obviously get a few intercepts. Who do you not want to see trying to chase you down? Or it doesn't matter, you're gone. No one's catching Sevu Reece from behind.
Man, honestly, it'll be Rico. Will be Reece. Yes, that guy's
just no way.
Yeah, like in my opinion, he's the fastest rugby player in New Zealand.
Yeah,
like in New Zealand, and like I wouldn't be surprised if and in Australia as well. Like that guy's quick, man. He's fast, and he'd be the last guy I'd want. After making an intercept, you're feeling good about yourself. You're like, and then you look back, seeing him chase you. Oh man.
What about the first guy you'd want to see?
Gio on a knee brace.
Well, for me would be Reece, man. He'd definitely catch me like real easy, because he's so fast. And I still remember the All Blacks game that we played in Perth when Tom Banks.
That's right,
man. Tom Banks, he's quick. When he just ran, and he had like a head start on Reece as well, and Reece just turned it up to him.
What about you, Gio? Who's the worst player you'd like to see chasing you down?
Big B, man.
I think a lot of the Super Rugby players will be able to catch me.
What about
they'll be excited to see you get intercept.
What about someone you'd be embarrassed to sort of have catch you? Like,
probably like
Andrew McAleer, like an Andrew McAleer.
Andrew McAleer. If he caught me, man, I'd be like, damn. Hey, choose that.
He's not catching. Oh, good stuff. Okay, next one. George, what's the hardest part about preseason?
Ooh.
This one's gone specifically to you, though.
Yeah, I guess it's definitely the grind day. Like you'll be under the pump, not only physically but mentally. There'll be days where you wake up in the preseason, you're like, far out, we got to go do this, and we got to go, I don't know, climb the sand dunes, or got a bronco, or we got to go do wrestle and run, and just those things that tick in your mind. And it's like, if you're kind of going with that mindset, it's going to make it worse for you. So what I've found, I guess, is like, you really have to just almost fake it, like, oh yeah, I want to be here, and it actually helps. I find that it helps, and I always try and think like Ethan Blackadder. That's why Ethan Blackadder loves it. He attacks it from the front. He walks forward to the challenges.
He runs, he sprints to it.
So that's a good mindset to have. Like you think like Ethan, whatever Ethan would do, he would walk forward to any challenge and he'll eat it up. He'll eat it no matter how hard it is. But preseason is hard, and I guess it's supposed to be hard because it's supposed to challenge the players and get the players ready mentally, physically, for the season, and you do the hard yards then, so that when the season comes, you will get the rewards. So, but yeah,
I like that. I like that mindset. I might use that. What would Ethan Blackadder do? Just consistently ask myself, what would Ethan do in this situation? If you do it, you're probably going to end up in a good spot.
Jeez, he loves it.
He loves it. Okay, this one's specifically for you, Sevu. Where did Sevu learn his dance moves?
Oh man, see the guys right here, man.
Did he teach you?
Nah, it's when we're all around each other, man. Like me, this guy, Richie, and when there's music playing or anything, man, you just go crazy and you just start dancing and you make up all these dance moves that end up like, it makes sense. And it's like, oh, hang on, these dance moves are, like all just links together. And you're like, and when you look back, you're like, wow, that actually looked mean. And like, I always love, bringing the energy, and, if that includes dancing,
just feel it.
Just feel it, yeah.
It's good to put smiles on the boys' faces as well, even if it's a laugh or it's
Well, no one does an after game celebration quite like you, Gio. Like your energy and what you bring to post game chants is pretty impressive.
It's I guess I did it a bit in high school, which is good. So kind of just use that kind of energy, and it's always good to bring the energy and lift the boys up after the game, even though some of the boys might not want to, sing or chant after the game. It's always good to boost their levels. And if they see you going hard, they're going to go harder. And if you see them, if they see you amping them up, they're going to go harder. So
impossible not to be amped up after one of your performances. They're very, very impressive. Okay. Favorite Crusader game you've played in?
Oh, I think my one was. You want to go first?
There you go.
Or the final last year, 2020
Blues,
2022, against the Blues at Eden Park. Man, that was special, man. Like far out, in front of a sold out Eden Park, and up against a team that was undefeated the whole season. Yeah. For us to go up there to the Garden and win it like that, boy, it's definitely a game that one of my favorite Crusader games.
I'd probably that final last year was right up there, man.
When you scored your try off Pablo's kick, that must have been a moment.
Honestly, that game there, because I remember that game there, like just before that game, I was just so nervous. Like, I don't know what. I was, because I was rooming with Rich, and Rich actually, this one, like I was, because usually, we've roomed together a lot, and then because this one time he turned around because he likes to close his eyes for a little bit, like has a little nap, and I do too as well. So I was laying there, and then he was having a nap, and then he like woke up, like he like just turned around. I was already dressed and I was laying in bed like that. Look. And then he turned around and he was like, what time are we meeting? And I told him, it wasn't until like later. And he was like, bro, what's happening? Like, are you ready to go? You're dressed and everything. And I turned around and I was like, bro, I do not know what's happening to me, but I'm ready. Like, I'm dressed and I didn't even know what was happening to me. And he was like laughing. He was like, man, this guy's, he's nervous. Yeah. And obviously because they, they came down to Christchurch and, they beat us here and they've had a, really good run there. They hadn't lost the game. So, just lots of pressure, but it was cool to get that win at the end.
Okay, next one. Who's the Carver King?
Oh,
there's only one. I don't know. He's got the name too as well.
It's Carver Soldier. They call him Carver Soldier. But he's just a soldier.
Now all the boys just love it. Carver. Yeah. Literally could sit down there and just.
It's definitely the Fijian boys. Like anywhere you go, it's always the Fijian boys. Me and Sev's here, and we love it. We love it.
How often would you have it? Once a week? Or
once
more?
a week after a game. And some teams do it midweek before day off, and it helps them relax and I guess unwind. But us boys, we just do it once a week after the game, and good to connect and put the boys to sleep.
Every Fijian, I feel like, loves Carver. Hey, like any Fijian you play with around the world, they are heavily into their Carver. Like, how do you get into it? Like, what age do you start drinking Carver?
I guess growing up, you always see your parents do it. And you see it's traditional as well, and you see it done in traditional ways, and in terms of to respect the elders and things like that. So we kind of grow up seeing it, so it's normal for us as Fijians, as Tongans, as Islanders. We probably get into it around high school. We help out, you're 16, 17 years old, help out around the tānoa, You're told, by your mum, sit here, you have to sit here and do it. And then you end up drinking it. So but by the time you leave high school, you're drinking kava, and it's, not abusing it, but you're doing it,
Because you can't have too much. I remember having a big night with Tikara Tuma over in London Irish. I went there just expecting to, just have a few kavas, and ended up, I couldn't drive home. I couldn't even really stand. I was like, wow, this stuff's really, and I know you can drive on it, but I was like, man, I can't, I can't drive. I can't even walk to this door. So I had to get an Uber home. But I was like, man, this carver he must have some strong stuff. But you guys obviously know some of the good stuff as well.
It can have that effect of on you, especially if you don't drink it often as well. And it is if you do drink kava and it's your first, second, third time, just drink responsibly. Take it easy.
That's the lesson.
Don't give in to peer pressure, or else you'll be locked there. And
Oh, good stuff. Okay, next one. Ask George how hard it was to stop playing sevens and finally train like a prop and go to the gym. That's from Scott Waldrum, so he obviously knows your sevens story pretty well.
What did he ask again?
He just asked how hard was it to stop playing sevens. Get into the gym.
I remember Scotty always like, don't play sevens, but I can't. I love it. I love the sevens, man. It was. I guess it wasn't too
sounds
hard.
like it did you good, really, didn't it? Got your base fitness, your skills.
Exactly that. And I found it helped my pass a lot, especially left and right kind of thing, and not just having one pass kind of thing. So that's probably why it took me ages to put on a bit of good weight, because I love sevens too much during that summer. You play a bit and then you don't put on weight, and so Scotty was always told me to go to the gym and build a good strong back for scrumming. So he's always in my ear. But no, he's a good man, Scotty Waldrum. Yeah,
he is. Okay, next one. How close was George to playing for Fiji?
Oh, that's a good question.
Was that? It's better than the TV question.
It's way better than
no, I was actually very close for the 2019 World Cup. Yeah,
were you?
Yeah, so
okay.
Even the coaches came to Christchurch and met up with myself and Mana and Sevu, and saying, they're real keen on having us.
Oh, you as well, Sevu. Oh,
having us, on board for the 2019 World Cup for Fiji, represent Fiji and things like that. And, you represent your country, where you're from, your heritage and things like that. So really kind of like, I was I was really like weighing it up. And back then, I was like, I had to get a lot of advice from my parents from Haleti Pole. I was use him as quite a good advisor, I guess. And they always told me, you're just scratching the surface, man. Just give it a couple more years. You can always go back to Fiji if you don't make it here. So I listened to the advice and I held it down here. Unfortunately, I had to turn it down, and I guess it worked out for itself. So, but I was very close. I was very close to playing for Fiji that year, and it would have been a different story if I did.
Mate, massively. Yeah, that's crazy. So, did you think you were going to be an All Black? Is that sort of what you had to weigh up? Am I going to be an All Black?
Yeah. I didn't think I was going to be an All Black at the time, but I was like, there could be a chance there where, if I do keep pushing and tracking on well, I could make it. So I was like, I'll sacrifice, playing for Fiji to do a few more years here and see what happens. And then, we could always play it off after that. So
And were you the same, Sevu? Or?
No, the same. I remember when, because that in 2019, our first year, we were living together, and they messaged me, asking for George or George's number, or they'll ask George for my number, and they caught up with us. Sat down with me too as well, and the same thing happened. They told me, would you want to play at this year's World Cup? And straight away, I was so close to going, because I was like, man, like I said earlier, Rugby World Cup's the pinnacle of rugby. That could be a great story to tell your kids. I've been to the World Cup. And then because that was kind of just over halfway of the Super Rugby season, and then my rugby, I started playing consistently, and my old man actually told, because I told him, I was like, what do you think? That'll be cool if I play for Fiji, it's always been a dream of mine to play for Fiji. And, he said, man, you playing some good rugby at the moment, maybe just wait. And like George, because I can always go back and play for Fiji. Yeah. So just waited, and and then ended up playing.
Mate, that's crazy. So you guys, you can play for Fiji after, what's the stand down now? 2?
I think it's 3.
3 years. Yeah. So 3 years from not being selected from the All Blacks, you can play for Fiji.
Yeah.
Far out.
So this year probably counts as one. Right?
Yeah.
If that's the thing, counts as one, and who knows?
Right, crazy. Oh, cool. Good stuff. Okay, next one. What was the hardest thing to overcome to become an All Black? Tough one.
Oh, I guess, I guess for me, probably just the doubt that I had in my mind, leading up to my selection, thinking that, I'm not made for the environment, or I'm not supposed to be there, or, and I think, growing up, I always thought, it's never possible. So that was kind of my mindset. But now looking back, you kind of have to change that and understand that, I guess, try your best to remove that doubt and say that you're supposed to be there, or, my family would always tell me that you're meant to be there. You're there for a reason. And, I guess that was, that kind of answers the question for me. But yeah,
man, wow. For me, it would be because I'm a believer in, you can achieve anything if you put your mind into it. And, that probably as simple as I can put it, if, you're growing up as a little kid, you want to play for whatever, or do whatever. If you put your mind into it, and obviously everything follows after that, and you wouldn't know, until you actually put everything into it, and a couple of years later, you'll be looking back, and that'll probably be the best decision you've ever made. And, for us, we played for the All Blacks, and it's, I guess at one stage we sort of had to get out of our comfort zone and put our mind into training, eating well, and just those little sacrifices, knowing that we want to be an All Black one day.
Mate, love it. This
Nice.
sort of goes into this last question, which I do ask everyone, but it's going to be nice to have two, actually. But the best piece of advice you have for a Woodlad listener. So you're almost given a wee teaser there, but you might have another one for us. Who's got us?
You go, Trigger, while I think of mine.
Yeah, Trigger, you're on. You're full of advice.
Man.
You've given plenty. What a journey too, man.
Yeah. I guess, oh man, I've given a bit throughout this potty, but
Yeah. Mate, you have.
maybe I can, I guess go back to what my old man always told me. Like I said before, if you do get an opportunity, if you know, not only with rugby, but if it's with your schooling or your first 15 or work or anything, and you just you get the opportunity to, and it's your time to shine. You take it with both hands. You do your best that you absolutely can, and make sure that you've left no stone unturned, because you just never know who's watching or who's looking out at you, and if he sees that, oh man, your work ethic and things like that, and that could be the monumental change to and lead on to something greater for your career. So
Jace Ryan watching a young Gio down at the club field. How good.
Right. And so it's I guess a bit of advice that I can give some young bloke or young person watching or listening to this potty.
Yeah, I love it. Can you beat that, Sevu?
Oh, wow. I mean, I probably gave away my best before. I was like, I should have kept that one. See, maybe if you had told us what the last question was, I could have
not given away too much earlier.
Yeah, that was actually good. When I was saying that one, I felt so good.
You were in the flow,
wow,
eh? Like I even noticed it in your eye. You're like, wow, he's in a state, flow state. Yeah,
flow state.
One piece of advice for me would be, like probably similar to what I said before. It's like you can be whatever you put yourself, whatever you want to be. It's like you just put your mind into it, and obviously knowing that it won't come easy. And probably I'll take that back to both me and Gio's rugby journey. You put our journeys together. It's it's kind of same but different. Look at George's one. He took the long scenic road. It was
scenic.
It's like for him. But he didn't even give up anything.
Yeah.
But and then every year you just keep resetting your goals and your dreams, and you're gonna tick them off every day, and it's gonna be a day closer.
Mate, it was even better the second time round. Good, same advice, but even better. Oh, mate, you are good. This could be a career for you. You two, advisors, advice givers.
Mate, that's what the knee's doing to us, man. We're just trying to think of all of it.
That's actually, sorry to jump back in here. That's actually a funny thing that you just mentioned, because with our knees, because we were in the physio room, I remember I heard Jenny telling me the other day, man, you're talking so mature now, and I'm like, hang on a minute, but because I don't know if you even realized when Gio was explaining about his knee, some of the words he used in there, I'm guessing you won't even know.
Nah, mate, it just goes into a whole new.
I wanted to cut in there, and I was like, but things like that, we could tell you, I could tell you which part that is, this is this, but no, it's really cool learning new things as well, and some of these big words as well.
Yeah, mate, you've both grown up so much since the knee surgery. It's done wonders for you both. But it's been awesome having you on the podcast. Really appreciate you two both coming on. You're true legends of New Zealand rugby, and I know a lot of people in Fiji admire both of you so much over there as well. But awesome to sit down and catch up, go through the journey, and love what you're doing with the We Need doco as well. So look forward to seeing the release of those and the return back onto the field. But appreciate you coming on, lads.
Thank you. Thanks, Jimmy, for allowing us to share our stories on your potty, and man, we've enjoyed it, and it's been awesome chewing the fat with you, and being on an awesome podcast. So cheers, Bruss.
Absolute
What a
lads.
lad, what a lad. Thank you. Thanks, bro.